that because they were Barnsley through and through. What I was told about Eric, he was, when you looked at him, yes, he was a tall guy, and but he wasn't built like me, let's say, back then. I was a few pound overweight, I will admit, even at 19. You see me weigh a pint, not in my hand, and there was a shark back then, to be fair, but everyone told me, don't mess with Eric Winstanley. And I'm thinking, what? And I said, I'm telling you, he is not the man you think he is. So I took it on board. I give him the respect that obviously he deserved because he was a player, he was now a coach. And I seen him in action that season that I joined, and I then understood what everybody was talking about. We were away at Leeds and we needed to win a game of football to stay in the league at Ellen Road. I think we either won 2-1 or 3-2, I can't remember. One Archdeacon scored the winner, if memory serves me right, that night. And so I've just been talking to some of the younger lads back then who were the YTSs. They were having a bike race just outside the tunnel at Ellen Road against the Leeds YTSs. And as we were coming out, Vinnie Jones was playing for Leeds at the time. And Vinnie Jones was giving our young lads a bit of stick, picking on them, because he was a bit of a bully, Vinnie Jones. And Eric was stood there, keeping an eye on, because at that time he was a youth team coach. And the first thing he did, he went straight up to Vinnie Jones and went, hey, so you want to pick on somebody your own size, like me. Well, I'll tell you what, I've never seen a hard man cower as quickly in all your life. And that's when we understood you don't mess with Eric Winstanley. So that was my first. That's not my only, but that was my first.
Excellent. Andy, you obviously knew Eric a long time. What are your memories of him?
There's millions and millions of memories, but I just remember when we were breaking into the team as kids, like Stevie Aggs and myself and Carl Airy, some people might be able to remember Sam Flo. We sort of got into the team at the same time with Norman Hunter. We were kids, 17-year-old, and we're around it. What did we know? We're on pre-season tours. We went down to Bristol. I remember vividly down to Bristol. My first trip, first game was pre-season friendly, Bristol City away. And it's just little quiet words that you would have with you when you start out your career, you start out your path. So it was more, not like Tags is saying in terms of the man, the strong, powerful man. Everybody knows that. It was more of a friend, and really as a mentor, more than a mentor, because I was quite fortunate. I was there at the start of my career with Eric when he was here as coach, and then when I came back with John Hendry, Eric I know was a big part of me coming back on the coaching side, and then when I was fortunate to go on the management side at Oldham, we took Eric over, and he was doing a bit of scouting for us. So it was the different stages of my career. We've kept in touch all the way through. And we see each other in little do's like this, and we all say hello. We've not spoken, seen each other for 100 years, and that's football. Like your paths all go this way and that way. But Eric and I, we stayed in touch after all these years, and it was more of a friendship and a mentor and looking after me and watching my career all the way through, right until my last job at Oldham. So it was just more of a friend more than anything else.
Was he the same? I know what he demanded as a coach. People have told me that before. Was he the same away from work than he was at work?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was just good company. Steve and I and the girls would go out to the long ball and see him on a Saturday night. We'd socialise with him because I liked his company. We'd have a drink and a laugh and a joke, and you talk football stories as everybody always does when they get together. When football people get together, they talk football stories. But really, really good fun. Great social person and a good friend. Yeah.
Any surprise to you that he lasted so long in the game?
No, you'd always turn to people like Eric White. Not at all. Anybody who's starting up, anybody who's experienced in the game, whatever, you know that he'd add value to any football club with his knowledge, his manner, and the way he just spoke to people. You know he'd add value to any football club.
And Gerry, when you come into a club like this, I mean, I'm from Barnsley, so everybody, I'm from town. People might have guessed. But I've grown up, I first started watching in 75 when I was 5 years old. I know everybody's gobsmacked now thinking I'm 35, but I'm not. I started watching when I was 5 years old, and I can remember the football that we played and some of the players that played at that time. It was all of it. But some of the players that come into this club, I don't think they get the Barnsley thing, the town thing, and then certain people do, and you obviously did, and the fans took to you. What is it about this club? Because when I look back, and I think about people that I've already mentioned, Norman Remington, obviously Eric, there are a lot of Barnsley people involved in the club. Is that something they tried to instill into you when you came here, what it meant to these hard-working people that paid the money to come and watch this?
Well, going back to what Rosie's just said, you know, Eric would sit down in the laundry room after training and have a chat with you about football, or about anything else you wanted to chat about for that matter. And we all used to congregate on a Friday anyway, because we all used to have fish and chips. So all the staff would have fish and chips, the players would have fish and chips, and we'd all just sit there and talk. And you'd have the laundry lady, I can't remember her name for the life of me now. Margaret, there you go. So we were just all together in a room chatting, and I think everybody understood what I said about coming and living in a place like Yorkshire, i.e. Barnsley, it was like living back home for me. The people are exactly the same. Their mannerisms, the way people didn't understand the word I said when I first came to Barnsley, if I'm being honest.
They're still done.
I had to temper my accent, they weren't tempering theirs. You know, and you know, when I first came, I was in the old Queen's Hotel. It's not that anymore. I spent 6 months in there. So I sort of got to know the people around the town of Barnsley very, very quickly, as you can imagine, because I spent a lot of time socialising with them. But even at the football club, when you went in, and as I say, everybody would just speak to everybody. It was just a nice little family club. It's the centre of the town, if you want, and it means so much to the people of the town. You know, the history of this town, when you go back, the football club is front and central to this town. And obviously, at that time, Barnsley's a selling club and people get sold on and whatever, but I'll tell you, back then when I was playing, they always managed to find some players from somewhere, some quality players, and you know, that's testament to the likes of very obviously Danny and Luke sitting in the corner, Mick Wadsworth as well, and Mel before that. So yeah, I always said Barnsley was a place where I changed from a boy into a man, and obviously in more ways than one, but Eric Winstanley changed my mindset when it came to football, and I don't say that lightly, because I was one of those players under Mel, and they have John Dean, and there's no disrespect to them guys, I just didn't enjoy training, I didn't enjoy going into work. And you find that hard to believe when you're getting paid to do something you love, but that is the truth. And the biggest stroke of genius those two over there did was bring Eric Winstanley to a first team, and that was it for me. I thought, right, now you're talking, this is proper football, this is proper coaching. You know, you've got two experienced, well, there were still players back then, obviously helping out as well, but for me, Eric's coaching was, and I've always said this, he's the best coach I've ever worked under.
I think that'd be a great note to finish on. Gerry, Andy, thank you very much indeed.